Well, state media reports that the consequences will be considerable. The army will step in, suspend the constitution, dissolve parliament and install an interim ruling council. But Mr Morsi says he has no choice but to serve those who elected him.
A country divided. Two sides, each as determined as the other. These are supporters of President Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood. This rally at Cairo University was one of many being held across the country. And like many, as the night progressed, the tension grew. A group of men are reported to have launched an attack on protesters. More deaths and scores of injuries. The violence followed clashes at many other demonstrations. It's taken the Muslim Brotherhood over 80 years to work towards the power they have now, and it's not something they'll give up easily.
We say to the remnants of the former regime, if you think we are few, I swear to God, we won't leave the square until our blood is on the ground.
But there's anger on both sides. Many people have been hit badly by the economic collapse since President Morsi was elected, and tens of thousands have been gathering at Tahrir Square and other cities.
President Mohamed Morsi, in a televised speech, rejected an ultimatum from the Egyptian army to reach a deal by tomorrow, with millions of protesters calling for him to resign. Morsi says he will not step down. Crowds have gathered in Tahrir Square ahead of that deadline. According to state news reports, the army has threatened to dissolve parliament and create an interim government until new elections if the crisis is not resolved.
We now have a reference. We now have legitimacy, an elected leader, a constitution voted by the people. We must respect this legitimacy. It will be the only way to avoid civil unrest. Morsi's tone turned slightly conciliatory when he admitted he had made some mistakes, but went on to blame much of the trouble on remnants of the ousted regime of Hosni Mubarak.
Morsi's supporters came out in force in several parts of Egypt. One of their main rallies was outside Cairo University in Giza. As night fell, the mood changed. Several protesters were killed as gunmen fired at those gathered. Thousands also continued to camp out in Nasr city, many openly declaring that they too would sacrifice their lives to ensure Morsi remains in office. The army has not specified what it will do once its 48-hour ultimatum issued on Monday expires, and what military leaders accept as a concession may be different from that considered acceptable on the street. As the political deadlock continues, with so much at stake for all sides, Egyptians are bracing for tough times ahead.